Welcome back to Ranger Reads. This week, the Freedom Riders National Monument, in partnership with the Public Library of Anniston-Calhoun County, will be reading Let the Children March by Monica Clark Robinson, illustrated by Frank Morrison. We'll be reading this book with permission from Houghton, Mifflin, Harcourt. Let the Children March by Monica Clark Robinson. 1963, Birmingham, Alabama. I couldn't play on the same playground as the white kids. I couldn't go to their school. I couldn't drink from their water fountains. There were so many things I couldn't do. And in this picture, there's a fence, and it has a sign that says white only. One warm spring night, my family went to church. We weren't there to have regular services. We were there to hear Dr. King speak. We were there to plan. In this picture, you have a group of people in front of a church. He wanted to raise an army of peaceful protesters to fight for freedom. His brown eyes flashing fire and love, Dr. King told us the time had come to march. And in this picture, you have Dr. King speaking into a microphone. If I march, Mama said, I'll lose my job, sure enough. I can't march, Daddy said. I got a family to feed. The weight of the world rested on our parents' shoulders, but this burden, this time, did not have to be theirs to bear. And in this picture, you have a congregation full of people, a woman standing up, talking, and people are watching her speak. I don't have a boss to fear, my brother said, or a job to lose. We can march this time. We'll be Dr. King's army, I said. I'll be fine, Daddy, I promised. Don't worry, Mama. In this picture, you have a boy and the girl standing next to their parents. Dr. King didn't like children being put in harm's way. He was a daddy too, after all. But he said that though we were young, we were not too young to want our freedom. Let the children march. They will lead the way. In this picture, you have the boy and girl standing in front of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. On May 2nd, a sunny Thursday, boys and girls, brothers and sisters, cousins and friends, we all met at the church, dressed in our best, feet ready. In a silence so loud that all I could hear was my racing heart, we began to walk. Hand in hand, we marched. So frightened, yet certain of what was right for freedom. The path may be long and troubled, but I'm going to walk on. And in this picture, you just see the church in the background, and you see the tops of the signs and the tops of a few heads. Would I be hurt? Would we be heard? Would it all be worth it in the end? I wanted to run from the angry faces in the crowd, run from danger, run from fear. Boys and girls, brothers and sisters, cousins and friends, on and on we marched, we marched, we marched. Singing the songs of freedom, 1,000 strong we came. And in this picture you have children holding signs and marching. Hate dogged my heels all that day. Its yellowed canine teeth sharp, but courage walked by my side and kept me going. Disperse or you'll be jailed, the police shouted the first day. Disperse or you'll get wet, the policeman shouted the second day. Disperse or we'll release the dogs, the policeman shouted the third day. We did not disperse. We kept on marching. We wouldn't stop until things started to change. And in this picture, you have kids up against the wall. Dogs are pulling on the kids' clothes, and you have the police shooting the kids with fire hoses. Or water hoses. Hundreds of us went to jail on the first day, and even more on the second. My turn wasn't until the third day. After I was sprayed by water stronger than anything I've ever felt, rough hands pushed me forward, and I fell to my knees in the police wagon. I was going to jail. Dr. King reassured our parents. Don't worry about your children, he said. They're going to be all right. Don't hold them back if they want to go to jail, for they are doing a job for not only themselves, but for all of America and for all mankind. And in this picture, you have what looks like a woman trying to get to the police wagon for her children, but being held back by police. Other police surrounding the wagon, and then you can see little faces of the children inside the wagon. That night, crowded into a cell too small for even half of the kids, we sang, "We shall overcome. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me round, and freedom is coming." Our parents couldn't be there with us, but still we sang, wrapped in the proud and loving arms of our ancestors. And in this picture, you have the cell in the background full of children and a police officer pushing the girls forward. And you have the Confederate flag in the background. I was still in jail, but we heard that the next day and the next, more kids marched. The water hoses they used to sting us could not stop our fierce tide. The path may be long and troubled, but I'm going to walk on. And in this picture, you have all of the parents, so you have the white people in the background, and you have kids in the front holding signs. This little girl here is crying, looks like she's scared, and a couple police officers. Turn the other cheek, we had been taught. Show love where there is hate. The world watched as hate bruised us, but for 7 days we walked only in love. The jail swelled to bursting, and even President Kennedy took notice. Daddy said that the president received letters and calls about us from all over the world. Our march would become a memory, a small part of a larger story, but we had been heard, and the seeds of revolution were sown. In this picture, you have a family sitting in front of the television, and on the television, the children being sprayed down by water hoses. 2 days and nights I stayed in the jail. Some stayed even longer. When I left, I was tired and sore, and my best dress was ripped, but my smile was as wide as the Mississippi River. I had made a difference. "I'm so proud of you, baby girl," Mama said. Your march was what made them see. With nothing more than our feet, voices, and courage, we had done what others could not. Change was right around the corner. We felt it like a cool breeze in an Alabama August. On May 10th, the great news rang out. Dr. King had reached an agreement with the white leaders of the city. Desegregation would begin. And in this picture, you have the family all wrapped in each other's arms, and then you have trees in the background and the Confederate flag raised high on the pole. 1 month later, I was playing on a playground I'd never been allowed to play on before. 2 months later, my family ate at a diner we'd never been allowed to eat in before. Our march made the difference. We children led the way. Singing the songs of freedom, 1,000 strong we came. In this picture, you see the fence, and there's a sign on the fence that just says park. And inside the park, you have kids from all different backgrounds playing in the park. The end.